In our classes, we're always thinking about planning, creating, presenting, and reflecting, our four main goals for all of our classes. So with this project, you are going to be prepping your materials and actually making materials to be working with your paper basket. So that's your planning and prep. You are going to be creating a basket that shows form, understanding of form, and good craftsmanship, which is really important in any of our three-dimensional or two-dimensional classes. You are going to present your work professionally and reflect on it professionally. So our planning, creating, presenting, and reflecting are all there. So to start our paper basket, we first need to prep our materials. And that means taking some paper, cutting it into strips, and making some paper tubes. So the next video will show you how to make those paper tubes out of paper that's about 18 inches long by 3 inches wide. And I'm just using paper that I get in the mail.
It's all about the angle. So when I started rolling spokes, I was holding my skewer at a 45-degree angle. But then I realized if I held it at a sharper angle, I was able to get longer spokes. And I kept my glue handy because I was gluing it just slightly as I was going along. So I started the roll, which sometimes is the hardest part when you're working in this direction or this angle. So I started the roll, and once I got a little bit of it covered, I took my glue and I just ran like a really thin glue line. You don't need a lot, just enough to kind of hold it there. And then once I got to the point that the top of my skewer was going to be hidden with paper, I pulled that up so that more of the skewer was sticking out. That helped me continue rolling and keep a nice tight roll. So every time my skewer would almost be covered with paper, I would take my glue and I'd run just a thin glue line, roll a little bit, pull my skewer up, continue rolling. And you could see the sharp angle that I have on my paper here. That really helps to create that long tube. And then that last bit, you'll want to make sure is glued down. And sometimes my glue oozes out, and that's okay. I just use it to help solidify that flat piece. And then I have a nice, really long tube.
You will need 16 to start the base of your basket. So I would make 16 and get the next step set up. And then as you start weaving, make them as you need them, or maybe make like 4 or 5 at a time, and then work with those 4 or 5, and then make 4 or 5 more. So how you create those paper tubes as you go along, that's your decision, but you will definitely need more than 16. One last thing that you'll need to do to prep your materials is create 2 circles that are the same size. And I use something that's about 3.5 inches across to trace for my circles onto a piece of cardboard or a food packaging container, some sort of thin cardboard or poster board. You can't use regular paper for this because it won't be too thick. It won't be thick enough. So then cut around each circle, and then you'll be ready to go. 16 tubes, 2 circles, ready for the next step. Now that you have your paper tubes, you are ready to start building your basket. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that we have a cup of glue, because we need to glue these tubes down. You should have 15 tubes all around your circle, and they should be about evenly spaced. So if you want to just like glob some glue down in here. If you want to squeeze it out of your glue bottle, that's good too. Okay, and then you're going to take your tubes, and I would take it from the skinny side to the thick side on the outside and glue these down. So you're going to have about 15. So think about like a star pattern. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, now squish all these down. You're gonna get sticky. One thing that I forgot to add in the video, but it's something that I added later, was that 16th spoke. Remember I had talked about how you need 16? Well, only 15 get glued down as your vertical spokes to your basket. One of them gets glued down at an angle. And this one is going to be what you use to start weaving. So once you have all of your spokes glued down, take your 16th and add it, just glue it down, add an angle, a 45-degree angle to one of your spokes, and then you can move on to the next step, which is exactly what I'm showing you in the next demo part of this video. Okay, next step is just adding some glue on the top of them. In the center here. We're going to sandwich this down. So to make sure that everything gets glued, we're going to add some glue here. Put that on top and weigh it down with something heavy. Now that's going to stay like this. Eventually we'll be able to use these to weave with, but this needs to sit like this for a little bit to dry.